Okay, picture this. Your exams are exactly 30 days away. Your heart probably races just a little bit every time you glance at the calendar, right? The syllabus feels absolutely endless, and that familiar, creeping sense of panic is really starting to set in. But listen, if you're a focused learner staring down a giant mountain of material with time slipping away, I want you to take a deep breath. You are definitely not alone. In this explainer, we're going to walk through a highly calculated strategy to turn all that desperation right into action. Today, we're laying out the ultimate 30-day exam success roadmap.
Look, when we realize we're exactly a month out, the absolute immediate reflex is panic. And usually that's followed by planning these completely impossible 12-hour daily study marathons fueled by nothing but caffeine and sheer terror. But let's be real for a second. Cramming your way through a giant wall of textbooks, that is a straight-up recipe for burnout, not success. The real secret weapon of top performers isn't studying every single waking second. It's about efficient scoring over sheer volume. So we're going to explore how to prioritize exactly what matters so you can maximize your results in the limited time you actually have left.
All right, let's dive into this. We've got a highly structured 6-step roadmap for the month. We'll kick things off with mindset and the audit, then build a 3-phase plan, uncover some high-impact techniques, talk about protecting focus, optimize health and energy, and finally wrap up with your exam day strategy.
Starting right off with step 1, mindset and the audit. It is time to completely debunk the illusion that cramming actually works.
Science consistently shows us that spaced practice, revisiting material over days or weeks, beats those frantic late-night cram sessions every single time. So to set that up, we start with an immediate action plan for what we'll call Day 0. Literally today, you need to list your subjects, gather up your past papers, score your topics, and prioritize your weaknesses. But hey, we have to be realistic here. You should be aiming for about 4 to 6 hours of deep focus work daily during exam season. That leaves plenty of room for 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and it actually lets you deliberately build 3 to 4 buffer days into the month to absorb those unexpected low-energy slumps.
So how do you figure out exactly what to study first? Well, you can mathematically audit your syllabus using a simple scoring system. It's kind of like a cheat code. For every topic, rate its weightage from 0 to 4 based on how often it actually shows up in past papers. Then, rate your current mastery from 1 to 3, where 1 means you're really weak at it. And finally, rate its prerequisite value from 0 to 3, which just means how much it supports other topics you need to learn. When you combine these scores, your priority list basically builds itself. You attack the high-weightage, low-mastery topics first. Those low-weightage, weak topics, honestly, they just get the absolute basics.
Okay, moving on to step 2, the 3-phase plan. This is all about the core architecture to ensure steady, measurable progress.
To keep you from totally burning out in the first week, we're splitting the timeline into 3 very distinct phases. Days 1 through 7, that's your foundation sprint. The goal here is fast, essential coverage of those high-priority chapters you just identified. Then, days 8 to 21 are the build and revise loop. Here, you're dedicating 60 to 90 minutes every day to past paper sections and mixing up topics to really improve your recall. Finally, days 22 to 30 are your mock and fine-tune phase. This is all about building stamina, taking full or subject mocks every 2 to 3 days, and ruthlessly analyzing your mistakes.
Now for that foundation sprint in phase 1, you need a specific routine. Instead of just endlessly reading, try the learn, recall, review method. In a typical hour, spend up to 40 minutes reading and really understanding the material. Then, and this is crucial, close the book. Spend exactly 10 minutes recalling and writing down key points totally from memory. Finally, use the last 10 minutes to review the gaps and see what you missed. Doing this every single day in phase 1 cements your foundation incredibly fast.
All right, step 3 is where things get really good. High-impact techniques for maximum retention.
You know that feeling when you passively reread a textbook, highlight a few lines, and think, yeah, I got this. Turns out that creates a super dangerous illusion of mastery. You recognize the words, sure, but in an actual exam, that page is gone. Shifting to evidence-based methods for true retention is an absolute game changer. I'm talking about active recall, testing yourself without looking at your notes, and spaced repetition, where you review material at increasing intervals. Honestly, using digital flashcard apps like Anki can pretty much automate this entire process for you.
Another top-tier secret is the Feynman technique, named after the brilliant physicist Richard Feynman. The whole premise is super simple but incredibly effective. Take a concept and explain it out loud or on paper as if you were teaching a 12-year-old. Strip away all the fancy jargon. Use simple analogies. The second you get stuck or stumble, you've just brilliantly exposed a blind spot in your own understanding.
You then go straight back to the source, figure it out, and refine your explanation. It literally forces deep comprehension.
Let's move to step 4, protecting focus. This is about ruthlessly eliminating distractions.
To fiercely protect your deep work time, you've got to take it seriously. Put the phone in another room. Use focus apps to block those websites you know you'll scroll through. And if this whole process ever starts feeling completely overwhelming, just remember this: consistency over intensity. Short daily sessions beat irregular marathons. When the syllabus feels like it's crushing you, breaking tasks into tiny manageable steps and racking up small wins builds immense momentum. It is vastly superior to those panic-driven all-nighters.
So, how exactly do we build that consistency? It all comes down to the number 25. This is the heart of the Pomodoro technique. You do 25 minutes of highly focused, zero-distraction work, followed by a 5-minute break. After 4 of those cycles, you reward yourself with a longer 15 to 30-minute break. Sticking to this specific numeric rhythm actively combats brain fatigue, it sustains your concentration for hours, and it really stops that awful feeling of being totally overwhelmed.
Step 5 is health and energy. We have to talk about the biological foundation of studying.
You've got to treat your brain like a high-performance engine, and that means giving it premium fuel. Unfortunately, that's not a giant bag of chips. We're talking omega-3s from fatty fish and walnuts to support memory, antioxidants from berries for cognitive protection, and leafy greens to give you steady energy without that brutal mid-afternoon crash. Pair that kind of nutrition with short daily walks to boost your blood flow, and honestly, the biggest performance hack of the entire month, getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Because sleep is when your brain actually consolidates the memories of everything you just studied.
Finally, step 6. Exam day strategy. You've made it to the finish line.
Okay, the night before the exam, do some light review, pack your bag, and get to sleep early. Absolutely no new material. Then, on the actual day, arrive early just to settle your nerves. The second that paper is placed in front of you, quickly allocate your time per section based on the marks available. You want to build immediate momentum, so always start with the questions you are most confident about. And hey, if you suddenly draw a complete blank on a question, do not panic. Just take a few deep breaths, skip it, and circle back to it later.
So there you have it. You now possess the complete toolkit to turn these next 30 days into an unbelievable comeback story. You've got the audit framework, you understand active recall, and you know exactly how to structure your days. But it kind of makes you wonder, right? If these techniques can literally rewire how we absorb and retain information under immense pressure, how much more could we achieve if we applied this science to our everyday, lifelong learning? Commit to your starting point today and go make these 30 days count.